Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Frank Talk on Job Interviews. This week, I'm doing a 5-day series on tips to help you prepare for management interviews where you're going to be managing people. These tips are going to be great for managers who maybe are a little out of practice with interviewing and want to learn what the trends are right now in management interviews. But these tips are also going to be great for individuals who are facing a management interview for the first time. Perhaps you're going for a promotion internally, or you're starting to apply for external management level positions. Will you be managing people? On day one today, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. This is a characteristic that is really um, it's really become important in interviews, especially management level. In day two, we're going to talk about grit, your ability to demonstrate tenacity. And you'll have to be able to talk about past experiences where you have demonstrated that. On day three, we're going to talk about executive presence, that overall quality that you exude during an interview that makes you a believable leader and you have an ability to really get top performance out of your team. On day four, we're going to talk about team career development and how have you inspired your team in the past to get promoted? What kinds of actions have you taken to mentor and develop your team? Companies want to know this today. And on day five, we're going to talk about vision. Any good leader has to have a vision and has to know and understand how to get their team to achieve that vision. So today on day one, we are going to talk a little bit more in depth about emotional intelligence. It's also called EQ, and it's a really important quality that companies are really trying to examine in candidates, especially for management level interviews. Some of the things that they're really looking for is, are you an active listener? Are you really listening in the interview? Are you responding to the question in a really thoughtful way? Or are you always kind of putting your own agenda in and it almost seems like you're not listening to your interviewer? The other thing that high EQ people demonstrate is that you've got genuine enthusiasm. You don't need to fake it. It's just there and people gravitate toward it. And it's so important in management interviews to exude that because that's going to up your game in the interview and it can separate you from your competition. The other thing is you've got to be ready to talk about your failures. That probably sounds counterintuitive, but in this day and age, are looking for leaders that are able to take calculated risks. So it's not, if you get the question, tell me about a failure, it's not a gotcha moment. It's an opportunity to talk about a calculated risk you took. And maybe you didn't get the result that you wanted, but you grew from it. You really learned a lot. And the other quality that EQ is really based on is your ability to really shape the culture of the company. How have you done that in the past? What kind of a culture do you thrive in? You've got to have a point of view about culture, but also more importantly, you've got to show how your style has really reinforced the work culture where you worked. So I'm going to ask you come back tomorrow for day two. We're going to be talking about grit and how to get it. Thanks a lot.